The best thing about having a big audience for these videos and articles and podcasts and the email I do and the Twitter and Facebook is that there's so many smart people keeping their eye on these videos, and they don't let me stray, not even a little bit. One of those is a person we'll call True to Roof. That's his screen name. Anyway, True to Roof was just over here a little while ago. We were on my back porch smoking cigars, settling some of the world's problems, and I was explaining to True to Roof that I thought that more people were really opening their minds to this whole idea of black criminality and violence wildly out of proportion, no matter what they see on TV, and they're starting to speak out about it. But I did say, I think there's 20% of the people out there, True to Roof, who they're just in such an airtight bubble that they sincerely believe that black people are relentless victims of relentless white racism all the time, everywhere. That explains everything. He straightened me out on that right away. He goes, no, that's not true, because of all those people that think that way, they're not sending their kids to school in the ghetto. They're not picking up their girlfriend at 8 o'clock on a Friday night saying, hey, let's go down to that new rib joint down in the ghetto. So on some level, they know. Everybody knows, because that's how they live. Even so, even so, that there's still a lot of, especially white liberals out there, that are just pounding and pounding and pounding the story of white racism and black victimization. I came across this video from a few months ago, where from the Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University, and they were all sitting around with their legs crossed, patting each other on the back about how elevated their consciousness is about this whole idea of race. And the woman from Harvard, well, she had it figured out in a big hurry. Let's listen to her.
I mean, is it a problem of young white men? And is that who we need to be targeting to change?
Well, I think the overwhelming number of persons in the hate groups that we have encountered have been men, have been young white men. There are some women in the movement, no doubt, but equality among men and women is not a hallmark of the white supremacist movement.
But I've never seen any one of these people, like this guy from the Southern Poverty Law Center and these people from Harvard and the other people on that panel, I've never seen any of them really try to come to terms with this level of black violence that is so transparent and so obvious for anybody who keeps their eyes open about it. It's not just the numbers we're talking about. We're talking about the real stories we see every day. I mean, here's a story we just saw today.
2 Baltimore County men are out of the hospital tonight after being robbed at gunpoint inside their Wilker Avenue home Thursday night. Police say a 71-year-old man was walking into the house around 9 o'clock when 3 suspects forced him into his home at gunpoint and beat him before pouring bleach on him and demanding money. The second victim, a 60-year-old man, was in the basement and heard the commotion. He alerted his neighbor to call police.
The victim in the basement of the home tried to defend himself with a golf club, but the suspects had firearms, and so ultimately they took that golf club from the victim and then began to beat him with it.
WJZ spoke with the daughter of the 71-year-old who can't believe what happened.
I mean, just pure disbelief and disgust, the fact that somebody would actually do this to another human being, let alone my father or my cousin.
And what we're about to hear from Joe Biden on the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day a couple days ago. Biden was giving a speech to Al Sharpton's group, the National Action Network, and he was explaining to them about how white racism, well, it's just everywhere, damn it, and it's messing everything up.
But we've learned in the last 2 years, it doesn't take much to awaken hate, to bring those folks out from under the rocks. That part of American society that's always been there, will always be there. They have been deliberately reawakened again, those forces. It's not an accident. They have been deliberately reawakened again. Unearthed by loose talk, by direct appeals to prejudice from the alt-right. And then something I never thought I would live to see again. having the President of the United States make a moral equivalence between those who are spreading the hate and those who are opposing it, saying there were, quote, very fine people on both sides. No presidents in the Civil War have ever uttered words like that. We have to challenge these forces of hate and stand up and simply say what the vast majority of Americans agree to. This is not our America. No, for real, not applaud. This is not who we are. We have a lot to root out, but most of all, there's systematic racism that most of us whites don't like to acknowledge even exists. We don't even consciously acknowledge it, but it's been built into every aspect of our system. One thing we know for certain, you've learned it over and over again through history, whether it's the Holocaust or the Civil Rights Movement, silence is complicity.
But I've never heard Uncle Joe come to terms with this level of black violence and criminality, which I promise you he is not exposed to where he lives, about 5 miles from where I'm making this video right now. He's not exposed to it. He's got the Secret Service. He has the fences. He has the hedges. He has the gate that comes down. When he wants to take his lovely bride or some friends out for a quick cup of coffee or an ice cream or a sandwich, he's not going down to the ghetto, not by himself. He won't let them go by themselves. He just won't. Jumpin' Joe has no answer for stuff like this.
A week ago, a security camera at on-campus housing Bayou Oaks captured armed robbers crawling to creep up on their victim. They held him at gunpoint to steal his wallet and car. 18-year-old David Augustine and a juvenile have been charged. 2 of 10 people, University of Houston police say, have been targeting students in robberies this month.
All 3 cases have been solved. Arrests and charges have been made in all cases.
In a video message, the University of Houston's chief of police announced the development. 8 juveniles and 2 adults, Augustine and 18-year-old Isaiah Erdy, are tied to 3 campus robberies, he said, 2 at housing complexes, 1 in parking lot 4A.
And so on and on it goes.
Please, sir, I want some more.
Violence, denial, violence, denial. But you tell me, did you get a sense that Covington really was kind of an event that really just cracked open a lot of minds that were in denial, or at least, denial. The people that were just pretending this could never hurt them, never enter their life. They open up their TV news, and for a couple days they see these horrible stories about these nice kids from Kentucky until we learn the truth about that. I don't know how long this crack in that bubble of denial is going to last, but I don't think you can, once something is cracked, this isn't like Humpty Dumpty. You can't go down there and put all the pieces back together again. Even if our inability to stay in a state of denial, deceit, and delusion does make the black kids angry.